Guys, maybe we'll go full screen. Hopefully this works now. Hello and welcome to the latest Project Spark developer stream. For those of us here from Team Dakota, I'm Mike Lesko, the community manager. I'm here with Andy Zibitz, who's the, I don't know, I forget, I always, the super senior technical, the guy that actually gives me everything I need.
The art lead.
Art lead.
Yeah.
And BJ, who, did I pronounce that right?
That's right.
Yeah. Who is something related to content and stuff.
That's right.
We're not a big fan of titles here. It's really, so we're going to start off. Let us know if you hear us and everything, because we had some weirdness before, and we'll kind of minimize this. And as I talk and fill you guys in, we will have Andy do his version of the X-shaped hill.
X.
Hello.
I don't know. Maybe people should suggest a letter.
Oh, yeah.
What shaped hill should we have?
The Y-shaped hill.
The Y-shaped hill. So just to recap, we came out of E3. We had a big, a lot of big announcements there at E3. That was, I think, was pretty exciting. We had some really good things, like really three main things that we wanted to announce, which was Champions and Champions Quest, which we covered in the last stream, which seemed to go over well. I think some people are still, some of the hardcore creators still a little bit on the fence on that. I know we kind of have the Paradox Moose sort of, that's sort of our bellwether, and if we can convince Moose that this is awesome, that we know we've kind of got that, and I don't think he's there yet, but we're committed to winning him over. We also announced multiplayer, that it would be 4-player play and create. And create is, essentially it's like 4-player Photoshop. 4 people at the same time doing what Andy's doing right now, doing their own thing on one board, which is pretty exciting and really cool, and
it's very cool.
A very big thing. And then the third thing was Sci-Fi Galaxies, which is the sci-fi theme, and that played. It seemed like people were really excited at E3 with that, and I think people like that as well. And so what we want to focus on this stream is to kind of show off some of the Galaxy stuff that we can do, give you guys an idea of where it's going, so you can kind of start formulating what you might want to do with this when it comes out. And as always, we want to kind of give you an update on where we are with the status of our current live beta, and as well as like what's going on, and then answer any questions you guys have. So hopefully that kind of sounds pretty good all up for you guys. But if there's any questions, shout in chat, and we will certainly do our best to dodge them without seeming dodgy, because that's really what it's all about. Let's see.
What are the stone wall props that people want back?
Oh, just opening up.
People want stone wall.
He is the man to talk to about it. I said that on the last stream I was on.
I just want to know how they know about them. How do they know about stone wall?
Because they were awesome enough to be in the alpha.
We had them.
They were in the alpha starter pack. So yeah.
No,
yes,
that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right.
But BJ would be the one.
Yeah, they'll be back. They'll be back.
When? Soon?
Not soon,
okay.
Unfortunately. Not soon. We have some other things to fry. Other things cooking.
Other things cooking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we haven't figured out what you're gonna leak today. I didn't even check the office poll on.
I'll tell you what. I'm just gonna openly leak today.
Uh-oh, here we go.
We are cooking up some fun character stuff. How about that?
Fun character stuff. Interesting.
I think true leaks cannot be planned.
Yeah.
Well, right. That's right. Yeah, you can't. It wouldn't be a leak if we planned it. When is soon? Well, it depends on what we're talking about. Is fall soon? I said fall in the last stream, and the community yelled at me and said, no, it's not fall. It's October. So, I think October sounds good. I think technically fall goes to December 21st. So if we want to stick with fall, that October is kind of, tying us in. But I think, I think Jesse would probably feel pretty confident that, October, it wouldn't be a date that could come and go that we wouldn't see some of the stuff that we're talking about having out there. And Calvin and Hobbes, he actually partnered with another comic writer for the first time in like 20 years, the Calvin and Hobbes guy, to do like he took over the strip for a week or something, which was really weird because he's like this crazy hermit and stuff. But we all love Calvin and Hobbes, and I don't know about the Calvin and Hobbes DLC, but that's a good idea. Let me write that down. Yeah. And actually, we got Spaceman Spiff, and I mean, we got the guy. It's all coming together here, right? Holy cow! So, update on where we are. So, team's still working on Billy Goat Gruff. As just a recap for anybody who might be joining us now, we released a pretty large update called Goat, which had a lot of great stuff, and some of that stuff was not as great as we had hoped and needed to be fixed. So, to rescue that, we sent in a Billy Goat to fix that. And Billy Goat was the next update to address that and to save the goat. And Billy Goat did save the goat, but then the Billy Goat kind of gets stuck himself.
To start throwing 20s at the screen.
And so now we have, we're working on Billy Goat Gruff that should kind of do some minor tweaks, address some sort of things. And I think the team's looking pretty good for that. It won't be this week, but I think it could be early next week, could be early as soon as Monday. And we haven't, and with that, once that's out, that is going to be one of the things that we need to do to clear the runway for our next DLC pack, which we have not yet announced. But we're going to...
Oh, is that the one with the... Oh.
Yeah, it's the one that's very legendary.
Yeah.
It's a very legendary pack with...
that's a good...
Yeah, I think it's pretty epic and legendary.
It's got a big surprise in it, too.
And it has some big surprises, although I don't even know what it is because I haven't even looked at our notes to prepare all the material for it yet. But it is, there are some colors there, some shades of gray, maybe some shades of black. And I think, the craft, the people who look at themselves as creators, as crafters will really like it. It's really sort of a Smith-focused type of thing for the people that really want to work hard with the metal and make great stuff. And hopefully that kind of gives you a little idea on what, is kind of coming out with the next DLC pack, which might involve Smiths. And
stuff and things.
And, stuff that could be colored black and could be legendary. And... is that it? Wait, I don't even know what was the name of it? Did I get it wrong? Did I do that whole little thing and it's not
we change the names on things around here pretty regularly.
Every 2 minutes.
Every 2 minutes you got it.
But Legendary was right.
Yes.
Legendary's in the name.
It is a legendary pack.
But there aren't any Smiths in the name anymore.
Not in the pack name.
Band?
Yeah, like the band, right? Like, because,
the Smiths are not in the pack.
Damn, I was really hoping that we could get... What about Morrissey? Did we... No? We couldn't even get a deal with him? We'll work... Andy's working on that. Him and Morrissey are
your little roughing tool.
Roughing tool.
So that's kind of where it is. So we may have another DLC pack for you guys as early as Monday.
Just rewind.
Or it may come later on that week. It really depends. I think they're kind of just doing the final thing there to see... As soon as that Billy Goat Gruff comes out, it may be right then. It may be 5 minutes later. It may be 5 days later. We don't know. We like to just be really organic and impromptu here. So let's talk about. If there's any other burning questions on anything for basic stuff before we jump into this to the Galaxies.
Galaxies. But wait, let's look at Andy's beautiful level. I want to run through it and.
Will the next pack be purchasable with credits when it comes out? I don't know.
Yep. No one in this room can answer that question.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's been decided yet. I don't know. I'll find out. Let me see. That's a good question, actually. I don't even know what it is. I don't know if we even finalized.
I spent all my credits last night trying to go into somebody's level that I wanted to see how they did something, and I went to remix it, and it said, you don't own a few things, and so I went and blew all my credits, getting everything I could, and then I was left there with no more credits, and I'm like, no, and I still needed to get a few more things to... I wanted to see what he
so they're saying if it's coming so soon, can we at least announce what it is? So I will announce it as the Legendary Arsenal, is what I believe the name will be. I can't tell you any more than that because we gotta keep some surprises. So I was kind of close with the whole blacksmith thing, and I think it might have been called Legendary Blacksmith at some point.
But just keep it between us, like just
this is between us
people.
Because I know that we can trust you guys not to say anything. So it's just between us. These guys are these guys are cool. BJ, these guys are cool. We can trust them. It's cool. So Legendary Arsenal is the name of it, and we'll see. And maybe I can get out like some teaser info tomorrow, like maybe a little blurb about kind of like what it is, the high level stuff. And then as soon as we go, and if it's Monday, we'll kind of put out the whole information. And as usual, when we put out a new DLC pack, usually the following Twitch stream, as soon as it goes live, is when we'll kind of play with it and show it off. Hey, that would make me argue to let's put it out Thursday morning, and then next Thursday we could do it, right? But hey, there's a lot of things going on. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what the heck are we doing here? So the stream here is about Galaxies, right?
Well, let's show the showcase.
Sure, absolutely.
So I'm going to give you...
It's just fill-in time.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So
basically, and since Henry's not here, I kind of like, Henry, I need to channel you and talk about the stuff. Oh. So I think the big thing to talk about is like, Project Spark was really always kind of designed... What do you need to be on the internet for?
Just go to the showcase level.
Mm-mm.
No showcase level?
We can either have the internet or internet. We're not defined enough to do that.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, then we're going to have to... Good thing I built a level.
Well, I knew that you planned ahead. Hopefully you saved your level. Oh, yeah, you did.
Yes.
So one of the things, and this is what's good to have Andy here, is like, really from the get-go, Project Spark was really designed about having a really kind of distinctive and identifiable art style that would actually carry across multiple genres.
Yes.
Genres, themes, IP, and I think Conquer is kind of one example of that. And hopefully we can have more to follow if that kind of works. And things like maybe the color tones and jumping, because I don't necessarily like the shape, the language of the shapes and structures and things designed. So
pay
all
no
sides
attention
can be
to
used.
the stuff over there.
And that sort of thing. It was designed to make that fit. And I think when we talk about that, now we have the sci-fi theme coming in. It's done in a way that it can fit in with the previous theme. So there is kind of a consistent sort of art vision there. And I don't know if you can elaborate on that or if I...
No, I mean, our like you said, our long-term goal is to not only be able to add our own new takes on our own IP, like switching themes to sci-fi or, the few other things we've talked about. That they could be used together, that you're not sitting down to make a sci-fi level or a fantasy level,
right.
that you could have a sci-fi world that like transitions into a fantasy world and not have it look disjointed or bizarre.
And think of like Legos, right? You don't buy a Lego set and none of those Legos work with your other Legos. Like, no, it's designed so everything can add to it. So when you have more stuff, you can do lots of things. Or you can just focus on the theme, but it's not like an either or. It's adding to it. It's adding to the total sum of those parts.
And I think one cool place where that will be demonstrated will be looking ahead, great things to come in the Crossroads experience as we implement the Galaxies things in there. Right. You're running around in your fantasy medieval world, and then all of a sudden there's like a crashed spaceship, and it's like, right. Whoa, you just crashed into my fantasy world? What's going on? And so worlds start colliding, and
peanut butter in my chocolate.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
So I think
I just realized these guys. I think unless you paid very close attention to E3 videos, this is probably the first time a lot of people are seeing the new UI, the main screen.
Oh yeah,
yeah. No, I think it's true, and like we had some coverage, but I don't know if it was like a lot of the videos we put out were really kind of focused on showing what's there. But real quickly, just as we jump in here, I think it's important to point out that our goal with the Project Spark beta was to really help, people, the world, everybody create and sort of express themselves. So what we focused on with those of you who were in alpha, and then those of you that were in early beta all the way through, that what we were focusing on was the platform, right? That was really what we had to dial in and get right. And not that we were done. We still got plenty of work to do there, but we felt like, okay, we're on the right track with that. So the first thing that we came up with was really meant to be very familiar. It's supposed to be like widely appealing, visuals and kind of the game, adventure game style, and something with really like, immersive, creative, like kind of possibilities there. And you can see with what we did, hey, what would you create, what type of game, that type of stuff. And that was what we really focused on. But then what we did is listening to you guys, is to figure out what to do next. And believe me, I had, Mike Kelly was probably telling me about this in Alpha. Oh, you need more themes. You need more than just this, sci-fi. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Mike. Of course, I can't say anything, other than, hey, yeah, well, this is a lot of work. Let's, these aren't just things we can do today, right away. It takes a lot of things, and it was true. So, we kind of listened to what you guys said, and it seemed to make sense that sci-fi was a good first one. And we want to continue to use like kind of those overall pillars that we established with the platform and the game and fantasy or the adventure style in this going forward. So really at this point, as we look at what we're doing next, this is where we got to kind of go back to you guys. And I think you guys should start throwing out some suggestions, because I think there's a lot of ways. And, I'm sure we have some kind of planning going on, God, I hope so, on what could be next and things, that sort of things. But I think it's important for you guys to start talking about what, we've got adventure, we've got sci-fi. What else is there? What are the things that you would really want to be able to express and create the worlds that you guys want to do? So I think that's really cool. So now kind of jumping into Galaxies, like the whole idea, and I think this is what kind of our talking stuff from E3 was that, Galaxies is a new theme for Project Spark that, presents basically a whole new universe of kind of new opportunities for both creators and players. And it really empowers folks to use all new characters, weapons, structures, textures, skins, and I think Kafka wants to know about FX, music, and sort of the skies and stuff. So there's a lot we can do with that. So I'm going to jump off and let these guys kind of talk about what they're doing here. But that's sort of the big intro into what we're looking at and how we see this. And we feel like it really, with the announcements we had, we really kind of the bigger Project Spark story is now out there. So we don't have anything, we can't talk. It's like now we think, judge us on our whole now, because this is really where we are and where we're headed.
So this is a sneak peek at the pack that we're calling First Contact. Go ahead, yeah.
Also comes with 2 skies.
Yep.
So if you want to.
Oh yeah, let's get one of those skies.
That's what we call a Q in the business, BJ.
So we have the sweet space stars and the space nebula. Let's go for the stars real quick. So anybody that wants to make their Galaxies in Space games, and
right. No atmosphere. If you want to do like a space shooter or something on a space station or an asteroid, that's what that stands for.
Yep. And then we have the nebula. Ooh. Okay, so saving. Okay, so this pack we're kind of likening this to like a it comes with like a hazy kind of.
Yeah, that's a lot of fog in the nebula sky.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to, let's get some day in here. Okay, so we're kind of likening this to kind of a mini starter pack, if you will, for us. So you're going to get some sweet architecture, so you can start building all kinds of environments and everything, and you get a biome, this alien asteroid biome that's got these kind of asteroid alien plant pods, kind of trees, and then we've got a variety of rocks, a couple craters. We didn't go overboard with the rocks because you guys have already told us like too many rocks, so we're listening. Really honestly, this pack is so amazing. It's got these 2 sweet characters in here, and this is what the First Contact is all about. It's about the first contact between humankind, our astrotech here. Whoa, come in. What's that? There's somebody standing next to me? Who's that? Oh. It's the Codian! Yay! So you hear us always talk about Codite and things like that, and Kodu and code and all kinds of these code words. This is the Codian. This is the ancient extraterrestrial race that's been around since the beginning of time in the creation well, and these guys are masters of Codite. And these guys are going to meet the astrotechs, and then what happens next is up to you guys. Are they friend? Are they foe? But let's take something that's even more exciting than just, hey, we've got this new character in here, and let me show you something else that's really exciting about this guy. I'm going to kill this. Oh no! I didn't want to do that. Let me get rid of this plant here. Bye-bye, little plant. Bye-bye,
I don't think you're
little
going to see a significant change to this water, but Sci-Fi, I'm sorry, First Contact does come with its own water to go with the biome.
Okay, so this guy here. This is the Codian. This is with his costume on. You can take all this stuff off. But as you can tell, he's taller than the male athlete and the female athlete that we currently have on the available. This is what we're referring to as kind of the tall body type. He has unique animations. He's got, you know, some nice combat moves and everything. So I think you guys are going to be really excited about that because it's characters. We're trying to get you more characters as quickly as we can. Yeah, this guy's really sharp. You can make him a green Martian. He's got some fun stuff going on. I might show you some of his moves here in a second. Okay, and then this is the Astrotech. He's the kind of the all-purpose spaceman. He's built for, you know, tooling around in space and fixing stuff. And in the fiction in here, he's kind of getting this world set up. They kind of found out that there's some codite on this alien asteroid, and codite is kind of new to the human. Whoa, you found some codite? Excellent. I'll be right there. So we got the guy. He's awesome, and
and his clothes will mix with the fantasy clothes.
Oh, yeah.
So he looks pretty rocking with that like fighter jacket on.
One of my favorite things to do with him, I like taking off his helmet and swapping it with the Ranger, and then you can go in here. Oops, we'll just toggle color on that. And then get this down to...
Whoa, good God, man, you're in outer space. That's not going to work.
You know, get this. You can get this to match.
We use more Astrotechs this way, let me tell you.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but you can get this to match the trim on the Astrotech's outfit. And you can make like kind of a nice little, you know, little thief Astrotech if you want, for example. That's fun. The other thing that's cool messing with these guys is the way that their color markings on where the orange is. You can, you know, quickly just change those real quick to red or green, and all of a sudden you have your science team or your away team or whatever you got going on there, which is what I've done over here. I have my red shirts over here. These guys are all going to die here in a moment when I fire this demo up, because that's what red shirts do. Okay, so more exciting than the characters, if that's possible, is the architecture that's in this pack. Like the Keys to the Castle pack, let me jump in here, and I'm going to type base. Some of these names are subject to change. So there's a lot of architecture pieces, and we're really going the extra distance to like chop these things up and get these things measured to the grid. So if you're one of those people who builds with grid snap and you like to turn the grid on, these things will be perfect for you. They just snap, they plug, they rotate perfectly. We took extra attention to detail, an extra eye on these things, and there's a lot of these pieces in this pack. And you can build all kinds of cool things with them, and some of the neat things that you can build with them we already build for you. So we have some of our expert artists from Andy's team come in and they light them and they put them all together, and you can just plop these little things in your world. So for example, we'll take this junction piece and it's already pre-lit, goes into the world. You can run the snap to the grid. If you don't know how to turn snap to grid on with the controller, because I always tend to forget, it's hold D-pad down. It's one of my favorite things. And then, you know, you can just start saving and just start putting these things together and start building your sweet little base. And the other thing that we did was the default size that we had. The default size, sorry, I got this one on a little bit. Boop. The default size on these works really well for third person or first person. That's another focus for us, is first person stuff. So let me show you something really exciting here. When I hit test, there's also a really cool brain that Mr. Reeb has created for this pack. It's a first person advanced controller brain. I know I'm kind of going all over the place because there's so much exciting stuff to talk about. But with that architecture, I'll hold on the first person stuff real quick. This is a base that is used in the actual showcase level that we couldn't show you. But I wanted to show it to you in here because in our showcase level we have some rocks and some asteroid stuff kind of growing around it. But I wanted you to see it in all its glory. And we'll take a tour inside this place. So we're actually starting to do interior architecture. This is another sweet base. This is one that one of our environment artists built for, I believe it was E3.
It was for E3, yeah.
Yeah, so this one's really cool, and we'll go inside there in a second. Okay, so if you guys are ready, then let's just fire this up. Oh, here's just a little outpost that I built in like 2 seconds with some of the pieces. Oh, and this is the material, some of the paint that comes in the pack. You got your shore, your plains, your path, and there's some of the mountain going on over here. Okay, so what I have for you, enjoyment. This is some of the new HUD icons. Woohoo! So yeah, Reed put this together. It's awesome. So if you want to make, your kind of homage to Halo kind of games or whatnot, or start building some Galaxies fiction for us, you can this comes with the pack. It works automatically. Put it on any character and bam, you're in. You got your little blaster, your Astro Blaster.
And it's not one big decal. You can actually remove them and arrange them however you want as well.
Yep. And then I believe Brad's got some, like you can crouch, you can walk, you can run.
You anticipated about 3 people's questions.
That's one of the coolest things about it.
Yeah.
Okay. It uses the same system as everything else in the game, so it's in pieces.
Yeah.
So here we are. Rock me like a hurricane. I'm going to go over here, and these guys look pretty friendly. So let's see what's up with these guys. Yo, what up? Whoa, these guys aren't friendly at all. All right, so I'm going to need some help. All right. Now, what you're seeing in action, these are default brains that also come with these characters. So these guys will just start simply by setting their team. I made these guys bad guy Codians, as you can see. I had like purple skin because purple's my favorite color. Whoa, look at those moves. You see that guy? He's like, he's all over this guy. No! You're going down.
Look at that.
Sweet. All right. This is one of the fun little props that you can pew pew. I don't know if you guys can hear the sounds. Can you hear the sounds? We got all new sci-fi sounds. There's 2 guns There's 2 guns in this pack. There's the Codian, the Astro Blaster, and then the Codian Blaster. I can show you guys that also. Now let's go in some of this architecture. Oh, before we go in there, I want to show you a quick little robot that I built out of these pieces. So I just took a Codian, scaled him up a little bit, made him invisible, and then I built this guy out of all these some various pieces in this pack. So he'll run around and he can help me.
Could have helped you earlier when you were fighting those guys.
Yeah, he's fun. Woo! His head is actually the Codian blaster on his head. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, he's not bad. Okay, let's get inside. It's gonna start storming. Oh, here's a friendly Codian. I will protect you. That's probably not how he sounds, but that's how I'm gonna make him sound.
You didn't get the gig for the voice? I know you tried out. No? No, I'm sorry.
Okay, so now we're here in the interior, and if you want to see what this looks like, I can switch here. So like I said, with the default size, it's pretty good for third person and for first person. I didn't clean up the gun there. I have a floating gun there. Pay no attention to the floating gun behind the door. So we'll switch back to first person. I can go up this place. I can head over there.
What does that say? Create a message.
Oh yeah. So you can. These are kind of our signs. So in realms in the fantasy stuff, we have the wooden signs for you to put messages. So in this pack we have, it's called the video display. I think it's video display small. and you can put your own message on it.
So warning, core, stability, critical, something.
Yep.
Yeah, and anything that you see that's glowing in First Contact can be powered on and off, and the glowing elements can be tinted independently. So if you wanted to like make all the walls just like sleek black and dark gray, but with like red glowing panels, you could do that. I did that at E3. Actually, it looks really sweet.
Nice.
Yeah. Here's another use for those the video display. The artist turned them into little, what do you call those, fences, barriers?
Yeah, little glass barriers to keep you from falling off.
Yep. So let's go check this room out. So here's kind of a main control room with some interactive elements. And again, these are all, that's the device that I used for the robot's chest. It's scaled up in this scene. That's the sign scaled up really big there. So yeah, so I can cruise around this place. We also have animated doors. So you do, oh hey, what's up, buddies? All right.
You know, when we get high tech, we'll all be wearing headphones and we'll be able to hear the sound. And how cool would that be?
Yep.
It'll probably detract.
So here's another place that was built. This one is really sweet. It's got kind of a more claustrophobic feel with kind of the lower ceiling clearance height there. Which way?
Follow the lights.
Yeah, these are cool. These are good. Activate. Deactivation. I just planted a virus. The building's going to self-destruct in a few seconds here. Actually, it's not because we haven't programmed it to do that yet, but that's a call to action for you guys. Cool. Nice. So that's kind of the sneak peek of what we're working on with some sci-fi stuff.
So I think,
let me go ahead.
Well, I just want to kind of go back to sort of, kind of Henry sort of gave me some tips on the summary, like create an epic first-person shooter between the Astrotechs and Codians on, say, a derelict outer space world, only possible with Galaxies, right? So you can get all that in there. And you can also play through First Contact between the humans and Codians in the showcase. And I don't know, like, we haven't really announced First Contact, but can you talk a little bit about what that is? Because we would have showed it off if, a community manager had planned ahead and had that loaded. I'll talk to that guy about that.
About First Contact, the showcase level?
Yeah, they were just like, what's First Contact? Oh, you were talking about it.
Just in general, like the meaning of the new theme and...
Yeah, like I said, it's,
because we have Galaxies, which is the big thing. Right. So what is First Contact?
So First Contact is kind of our springboard, the jump-off point for Galaxies. And that's where, like I said, humankind meets up with a brand new alien, and we've got human architecture, and we've got just a taste of the look of like the Codians' aesthetics, and what their guns look like, and where we kind of want to go with this stuff, and if it's a hit, we want to make more. We want to get spaceships and all kinds of stuff.
As seen in the video.
And then with this stuff, you can already get to work building some ships. There's a sweet prop in here.
As usual.
Let me get to this one.
You can make ships and guns out of most of the sci-fi stuff, but we do have ideas for dedicated ship packs.
Yeah, we definitely don't have a shortage of ideas, but
I think, guys, I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you could think of what DLC packs focused on Galaxies would be, what are the things that you would find? Would it be a ship pack? Would it be, I don't know, moon-based pack? What are the stuff that you think would come together that would be like, okay, that has some stuff that I'd really love to let me go even further with Galaxies?
Yeah, this is one of my...
What else?
I like to just build a ship with these pieces really quick with this one.
But I think it's really important. It's really, I think, based on
nice.
On
Jaws of Life.
A lot of the community feedback we got, even as early as Alpha, about putting things together. And I think some of the folks that were in there are
spaceship. Sorry.
But like, you look at how this stuff is all made to be modular, so you can put this in, and we harken back to kind of Ari's like. His modular dungeon, what he created there, and that type of stuff. And a lot of that kind of made its way into developing the sci-fi packs so that we could have stuff that you could put all these things together and they fit, and you could make corridors. And all this stuff, and I know Andy and team spent a tremendous amount of time really thinking about that and kind of all the decisions that kind of come into that design-wise and artistically. How do you make that? Oh, it was all BJ?
It was mostly BJ.
I did a lot of the legwork in the beginning.
Yeah,
I actually
strategizing the size and modularity of the pieces was that was largely a design decision, and then the art department just had to figure out how to make it happen and make it happen so it was easy to put together and easy to not make it Z-fight and all that stuff that know comes with making modular stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think you guys tell us, but I think it came out really well. Like you always worry like. Something that's modular is going to look or you think, well, if it's going to look really good, it can't be modular, nothing will work together. Yeah. And I feel like you guys did a pretty good job. I mean, do you guys feel happy with what you kind of got there?
I'm so stoked about it.
Yeah.
Super.
I mean, from scraps of paper on the chalkboard to like boom.
Right.
It's like awesome.
Yeah, and a lot of dedicated experimentation time went into this, both on the functionality side of it and how we were going to make it happen without killing people's memory and that kind of stuff. Like they're really, they're well thought out pieces that can be used in so many different ways without seeing any usability problems, really.
Yeah. So do we want Slaton to come down and build something, or you just ping me? Or do you think we're
how are we doing on time?
We only got about 20 minutes left.
I mean, if you guys want to check out some community games, or we can have Slaton come down.
We would do community games if we could get online.
Oh, right.
Well, I mean, we could always switch to the. Yeah, you're right. We're not online.
Yeah.
Never mind. This is why we can't have nice things. Directional lighting. I don't even know what's involved in that.
You mean like
you're smart enough? What's
spotlights? I assume because the primary light is directional, but you want placeable directional lights, right? I'm sure that's what they want. We want it too.
I mean, how hard is that? I mean, lighting is always something like, at least in the past, it was really a big thing when a new MMO or something came out and they had really good dynamic lighting. It was a big thing, but it was also a big process hit. How does that fit with where we are, with our kind of overall engine and stuff?
Well, I would say that, point lights are the bare minimum. You allow placeable lights, and we would like to provide more of those types of options.
So like spotlights, flashlights, that type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you had a spotlight, you can easily make a flashlight.
Right. So I guess, that's something that I can note down, and I can ping, see what Reeb thinks about where that is on his priority list, and then maybe we can see what, tech guys going, whoa, that's kind of big, tough, because we have to do A, B, C, D, E.
I think with any kind of new lighting, the real heavy lifting was done when we went to deferred renderer, because then we can add more lights and not have a terrible impact on performance.
Do you want my level, or
people's
do you want
abilities to place numbers of lights in their
level.
levels? But as with everything on Project Spark,
continue.
This is it's in progress, and we're just doing things in the order that we can do them. But it's actually.
I think what you guys should do is say, wow, if we had a pack that contained spotlights and flashlights and all that stuff, that we would spend all our credits or buy lots of tokens, because then we can say, hey guys, everybody really wants this, and it's kind of the way to look at it.
We're very much still in that phase of the beta, finding out what people really want more than anything else, so that we can tailor our future actions to that.
Yeah, and I think we've done a pretty good job on this. Sort of the decisions we made, because a lot of this was a lot of that direction was set before we even went into alpha. But then, as we went along, we're always making refinements, and now we're kind of in the stage where a lot of the stuff that we're even planning now is really, we have all that feedback you guys had to say, okay, now we see how they're using it and what they say they want, and how can we do the right things there. So definitely seems like it's going pretty well. And Slaton's joined us, and I think Andy, you had the run. And
I do, but
big melee.
Slaton can switch with me.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for coming in, Andy. Appreciate
Bye,
it.
Andy. Woo! These guys are not playing around. Okay, so we'll hand it over to Slaton. So Slaton, I don't know if you want to take requests or what you want to do.
Yeah.
You want to build some stuff. So we kind of, we didn't get to show them the showcase level, just so you know. But so I ran them through all the architecture. showed them what was up with the pack. Showed some first person.
Whoa.
Showed some third person. Showed a little bit of the
right one?
modularity of the.
Yeah, that one.
Yep.
This one?
No bottom.
Yep. Of the base. I showed him my little robot. So whatever you want to do.
Sure. Good.
All right. So thanks everybody. I got to go to a meeting.
Thanks, BJ. Appreciate it. Hope I didn't make you too late.
Nope.
But you were on a roll. I didn't even want to interrupt you. You were just so into it. So thanks, man. Yeah, BJ's. It's fun. Just fun to work with him because he gets so into it, and you can tell from his sound stuff. But Slaton's finally back on the show, and you've been working for a while now on this, and I've been trying to drag him in on different things, and he's like, "No, I'm sorry, Mike. I got to focus on
work
Galaxies."
on this.
And hey, overall, how do you feel?
About the pack, or what?
Yeah, like I mean,
Yeah,
this is like this is something that you poured a lot into. I know, just from seeing around.
This is one of my favorite packs. It's got biome, it's got modular architecture pieces, it's got new characters. Sci-fi. It's different than what we have already. We got a lot of fantasy stuff, and now we have some sci-fi stuff. So it's really exciting to see this in the game and actually work well with everything.
No, that's awesome. And do you feel like? I mean, I'm sure you had a lot of stuff you wanted to try to do and get in. And you always have more than you do, but do you feel like you're happy with what you got in? Is there stuff that you want to see, you want to add to in the future, directions you want to go? Like, what kind of how do you?
I mean, I always want to see more, and we're planning on that. That's why I couldn't come down. We're
You're still working? Oh, I thought you were done. Yeah.
Oh no.
Slaton Hauser TD. That is pretty good. I like that. Slaton Hauser TD.
Hauser. So what do we want to see here? So
I think you're. Really, I think right now you're the only person in the universe.
Oh man,
you're the only person in the galaxy that has as much experience creating stuff with this than anybody else, right?
Okay,
You've been living in this, so maybe kind of play around and kind of show them like sort of your process and when you're making stuff, what you can do and that type of thing. Because I think a lot of our creators in the audience are going to be like, okay, this is the stuff I want to do. This is kind of neat.
Yep.
So
sure. So let's see. So we already kind of ran through the assemblies that come in here.
Yep.
Did we make one from scratch yet?
We didn't. We did a little bit over here, kind of showing off the modular aspect, but that was pretty much it.
Okay, yeah. So these are all assemblies that are just kind of made up of the modular pieces. So I can go in here and unglue it and take it apart. Let's see. So this is made up of columns, and it's got some pieces here and an insert. So I can go into the gallery and actually load all those up. So let's grab the junction, and I'll add the two-story, maybe. Or make it from scratch. That's fine too.
We're still talking about the kind of having directional lighting like spotlights, flashlights, those types of things, and the community's making their pitch for how soon we can try to bump that up in priority to
directional lights
to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if
I wonder if
it'd be. Is it something? I wonder. It's not something you could fake. Well, you could probably fake anything, I guess, but I guess real dynamic directional lighting would be kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you can make your space horror game, your space Slender game, or whatever it is.
Well, someone already made Slender in it, so
yeah, there you go.
Keep going with that.
So this is kind of one of the things that we look at, and I think it's based on a lot of the good feedback we have, is sort of the kind of what we showed with the modular aspect of even where we have these assemblies there, so you can put them together, but you can still pull out the various pieces, even with the HUD that we showed. Various pieces that you can do different things.
So I'm just ungluing some of the assemblies and kind of taking them apart and see how they're made.
So as Slaton's doing that, I'm going to type a little bit about the let's see, multiplayer Galaxies and champion/CQ are due October. Upgrade sockets for squirrels, birds, toads. I think we're always looking at upgrading the sockets, but I don't know that we're specifically looking at that stuff. It feels to me that the big thing now is to get some of the, and this has been feedback we've heard a lot, is like more new different things that we can put as far as characters and stuff like that. And so given the type, I would think probably try to get a new character out rather than going and do another pass on all the old ones. But hey, never say never. I tell you, with this stuff that we released, the game itself has become so huge that I'm having trouble just kind of keeping track of everything. And I think, maybe Henry, Reeb, Sachs, probably the only folks that can really, maybe Jesse, have that good vision of everything. Because there's so much stuff, and we got like experts like Slaton that focused on certain areas, but some of the other stuff, it's hard to know it all right now. And as you all know, I know pretty much nothing, no matter what. So. But yeah, absolutely. So that's cool.
But you fake it really well.
I do. Well, that's kind of really the skill.
Comes with the job.
Yeah, it makes sure people believe you actually know stuff when you really don't know anything at all. Let's see. What is the select tool that Brad Y keeps talking about? Somebody explain that. What's this select tool stuff? Yeah, I think anybody that's looking to kind of get going, far better than anything we've done, Team Dakota-wise, Mescat, who's one of our community guys, has just been tireless. He has put up over 100 tutorial videos that are really good and like really good quality on his YouTube page. You just do a search for Mescad, MESCAD, and I'll type that in the chat for those watching this live. And take a look through that stuff. Like, he's really got a tremendous amount of stuff, and I'm even thinking about ways that we can kind of help leverage that and surface that on kind of our website. Maybe allow people to search and kind of pull up keywords and sort of make like a sort of an index that lets you find Mescad stuff, because it's really great. Click, drag, select an area. I don't know how that would. I don't know what that would do. Like selecting an area. It's kind of weird. Oh,
like a lasso tool?
Yeah, I guess. I guess it would select all the props there.
Well, we hit multi-select.
Yeah, right. So I guess that's kind of that. Interesting. But you guys also want to know about Billy Goat. I haven't really gotten working too much on the update notes. I haven't really. I've looked at them, but I haven't really kind of dug in deep to kind of decrypt them to figure out what does this really mean. So I will probably be doing that this weekend, assuming we can kind of get the time. But let me take a look at what I have as of late for those notes, see if there's anything that I can kind of parse out and tell you guys right now. I think some of it is stuff that we kind of said is like known issues was really what we were trying to get through, but let me see.
Did BJ show the new first-person brain?
He did. He ran around a little bit, but he didn't show. He didn't go into the brain, so that could be kind of cool to show guys like what that is and kind of give them an idea on what they can do and stuff like that. So let's see. Patch notes. Well, we call it. Technically, it's an update. It's not a patch. So these are update notes. If I can find them. Here we are. Looks like we have some stuff in here for the next pack, because there's some things there we need. Definitely we did some more stuff, a lot of stuff on kind of the cloud save and auto save to really clean that up. And Bradley Reeb, and to give him credit, he wrote this before E3, and we just, with everything else going on, I haven't been able to put it up. But he has a really good blog that I'll see if I can even get posted tomorrow that really kind of talks about what the whole save system is supposed to be like, how it should work, things that were done and tweaking, and really what our goal is to get there. Let's see, what else here? Yeah, fix some crashes. Yeah, okay, whatever. see. I don't know. I don't see. It seems like a lot of little tweaks and minor fixes, like things that would be, definitely some audio stuff as well, but nothing that really kind of leaps out. And I don't want to specifically talk about them because I don't necessarily have the context to really explain what they are in sort of the bigger, terms. But yeah, so I think it's a lot of good things. And, well, yeah, I mean, fixing crashes is a big deal, but I don't know how many ways I can say, hey, fix this crash and fix that crash, because it's, kind of one of those things. But yeah, absolutely. What's the point of rotating terrain brushes? Cube plus new brush shapes. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I think the AI is something that's never perfect, right? But I think the guys kind of put a lot of time into this because it's really it's kind of cool because it's sort of that first-person shooter type thing, which is a little bit different from where we were originally sort of focused with the original fantasy theme. So I think it's kind of cool to kind of look at that and see what we can do in that way. A non-smart paint option and a smart paint option. That's I'd have to talk to Reeb about that and get his thoughts. I can see why that'd be useful, but I don't know how many, like what percentage of kind of the community base would find that super useful versus maybe something else we could put in there. Hey, no, Brad, no playing Project Spark. Well, I don't care what game you're playing. You should pay attention. This is important stuff now. That's pretty cool. Maybe you can even, make stuff alongside Slaton here and doing that.
Oh, like when we had Claude and myself make that cinematic with the explosion.
Yeah. Good times, good times. Another poll. What do you guys want to do polls on? See, I'm not a big fan of polls. What I like is good discussion, right? I want to hear the compelling argument for why something's awesome. But that makes sense. I'm not really as much of a metrics guy as a lot of people on the team and Microsoft in general. They want to see metrics, and that's where like polls and things like that, usage stats, who's doing what comes into it. I'm more, understandably, as the community manager, I'm more about the narrative, right? So that's where I like to hear the discussion and hear like the impassioned plea, like, oh, if we had this sort of thing, this would allow us to do this, and it would be so awesome, and it would be great, and kind of those sort of lines. So I think that there's good stuff for both, and we love seeing those polls, and we love taking a look at them. But I think also having the really good kind of the argument for something and what it can do. Changing the sky with code. I was talking with Henry about that, and there's definitely some stuff that I think we were looking at, and I don't know what came out of it, but it was definitely something that come up in conversations, just kind of doing a lot of things that, again, in early beta, you guys talked about, like, hey, we'd love to be able to do this with code, and I know the team was looking into ways to do that. And I think day and night cycle was a really good. I think that's one of those big things that people really kind of rose to the top of all the requests there. And I don't know where we netted out, because obviously between multiplayer and Champion/CQ and Galaxies here, I mean, there's a ton of work especially for such a small team with us. And that's why, like with the Conquer thing, we're excited to have that have that there for us. But again, we're not really actively building anything in Conquer, at least that I know of right now, because we're really heads down on this stuff that we need to get for fall/October. But yeah, the customized day-night cycle is definitely something we get a lot. Did you crash the game?
Yeah, too many enemies, man. I'm gonna make a war.
Oh, well, you probably would have been better off starting without
BJ stuff.
Without BJ's, because you know how cluttered that guy's mind is.
Oh, he just puts stuff everywhere.
Yep. Terrain tinting, I don't know what happened to terrain tinting, although you guys at terrain tinting and level linking were things that were talked about, and I think we mentioned in the last stream, it's all a blur here. I think we mentioned last stream that really Champions itself relies on level linking, and that when Champions Quest is released, we need to have level linking released as well. And we're figuring out where and how that goes out and what happens with that. But I think, it's definitely one of those things that there's a list, and maybe somebody, we have a little community advisory group that comprises a lot of our alpha and really active beta folks, especially early beta, that, kind of give us some direct feedback, and in a lot of ways help us really get a good sense of what the community is looking for. And if somebody wants to put together a list of, hey, here are these things that we had that we no longer have, that we saw maybe alpha or somewhere else or whatever, where are these? When are they coming? What's the status? Why haven't we, what happened to the troll? Did you guys kill the troll? Did the Yeti replace the troll? Like, we hear a lot of those questions. And, we love answering them one-off, but I think if you compile a list of like the top 10 or 12 things that you said, hey, where the heck is this thing coming? We haven't heard anything about it in a while. Then I can go through, and we can probably pretty easily get that done. We were also, this is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
We're also looking at maybe doing an AMA. I think we kind of, now we're well positioned to do it, where before E3 it would really be tough, because there's just so many things that we couldn't even really speak to without having both multiplayer and Galaxies and Champions and Champions Quest, and even the idea of Conquer, and the fact that, this is something where we could bring other, like, kind of quote-unquote IP and other characters and things in to do stuff with. That's all part of the big story, and now that's out. So I feel a lot more confident that we could do kind of a Reddit Ask Me Anything sort of thread and give you guys a good 4 or 5 hours to ask whatever you can. And I type pretty fast, and as Slaton pointed out, I'm pretty good at, sounding like I know stuff when I don't. Yeah. So I think, we could make sure, and I think our goal would be to try to answer everything to the best, at least give an answer, even if it's like, hey, we don't know yet, could be there. And I think hoping to get a lot of folks in the team to be able to participate and answer in their own words, so, I don't have to do all the work myself. And I think in a lot of ways, our engaged community members, I think those guys are going to have both some of the best and most pointed questions for us, but as well, I think they'll be able to help answer a lot of maybe some of the general questions that we'll see. And no, we don't have pizza in the game yet. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread chat. I thought you were asking if there was pizza in the game. I bet you somebody could make pizza.
Someone made a pie.
Someone made a pie? I think someone made a spider. I think it might have been Eric. Eric in the bakery. Did you make that spider game way back when? Somebody made a really, really cool spider game really early that was pretty interesting.
Huh.
But yeah, so Sir Green Day, good to see you, man. Hope everything's going well. Hope you're excited about Galaxies and what you can do with it. It's pretty fun stuff. But yeah, what else do you guys want to know? You're learning to use Reddit. It's basically just like a forum. If you know how to use a forum, you know how to use Reddit. There's certainly some etiquette there, and believe me, before I even started talking, and we were lucky that Scout and a lot of other folks actually went in pretty early and started off the Project Spark Reddit for us, and those guys were a huge help. But even me, before I even did anything there, I'm like, okay, let me go in and make sure I know the written rules and the unwritten rules and the etiquette and how that works, and it's important to do that for anything. Like, I think NeoGAF is another example. It's a place that I think a lot of folks are afraid of, developers, and I can understand why. It's they don't pull any punches. But again, it's making sure you understand, when you kind of go into these communities, like what are the written and unwritten rules, and don't go in and kind of, it's their community, right? So the folks that are there all the time, it's theirs, and it's not mine. It's not yours. It's not Project Spark fans. It's like the folk that live there, and we always want to make sure we're kind of playing well with the natives, because otherwise, they'll let you know if they're unhappy. Yeah, don't wander into certain subreddits on Reddit unless you're prepared for some questionable stuff. I guess that's too. What is it? Reddit gone wild or something? Probably shouldn't advertise that, huh?
Probably not. That's probably not a good idea.
So, Quixotic Sociopath, Project Spark. Project Spark is a free digital download, and you have the entire core pack that you can play, and you can play and create. You can build all kinds of stuff. And then what we do is we release various types of DLC, downloadable content packs that you can purchase either with in-game credits or with tokens you can purchase with real money. And right now, our model is we're still kind of trying to work that out and kind of the details. But we're at a place at this specific moment where everything we have is either available for in-game credits now, or the plan is that some of it will come out for token only for some amount of time, maybe a month or so, and then will be available for in-game credits afterwards. So we're looking at that, but we don't know. That might change. Who knows? We got to figure out what we do with kind of champions, and we got the Galaxies pack, and a lot of other great stuff that are coming that we need to figure out. But right now, I think the best thing is talk to the guys in the community that are pretty active and get their sense, because some of them like the stuff. Most of them have ways they'd like to see us improve. But I think rather than hearing me tell you, oh yeah, this is great, this is the fairest system ever, of course I'm going to say that. Talk to the fans, see what they think, get the good and bad for them, and I think that's probably the best way that you can kind of evaluate it and see how it fits what you're looking for in kind of games. But we do think it's very important to be a free digital download that people can jump in and do that, because we really want to have everybody come in, and we think we have a good enough game that they're going to get in, they're going to say, wow, this is awesome, and they're going to say, wow, it would be so much more awesome if I had that pack. That's what we're hoping. But, we'll see. I mean, this is kind of new ground here. So what do we got going on here?
Oh, I saw BJ make some sort of space rogue or something like that. But he didn't have a face mask, so he's going to die in space. So
that's what I said, right?
Trying to get him one. Let's see if
he did not seem to care, and I told him we lose more astrotechs that way. Goblin clothing. I don't know. Do goblins? Should goblins dress up? Do you see any? Is there like a king goblin? Does he wear a robe? Like, what would goblin clothing look like? I mean, do they what's goblin fashion? Is there a website, Goblin Fashion? There should be. Somebody should go out and get Goblin Fashion right now.com and squat on that, because that could be something. Like, I wonder what they would wear. Like, what are the trends? Like, what's the spring summer wear for for goblins? I don't know. I can't imagine. I always picture the same thing. Stolen clothing? Yeah. No, that's it. That's kind of a that's sort of stolen clothing. That'd be kind of more like the thrift shop, right? Kind of the Macklemore, the goblin sort of thrift shop type thing. I think that's. Oxy says that goblins are actually very fashionable. Well, I guess, the real question is, what will Karlsnor be wearing, right? Because he's the, goblin we all know and love, and we're going to know and love more. He does have maybe some rage issues. But he's working on it. He's going to some anger management classes. But Karlsnor certainly has a lot of things as he progresses as the champion for his outfit. And I guess that's probably the first way to look at that. And it's a good thing to think about, right? If we have Karlsnor as the champion that unlocks certain things like weapons and clothing and stuff, if you unlock that, then it's available for you as a creator to do that. And in theory, Swarmhammer beat me to it. Yeah, in theory, that stuff would be wearable on goblins. So I guess, look at that. We just solved the question of you wanted goblin clothes, and we just told you there it is. It's coming soon. See how that works? See how I did that? That's pretty good.
Man, making features is easy.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand why you guys say this stuff so hard. I just talk in the stream, and now it's there. Yeah. And you guys, oh no, this is going to take a month. And I'm like, you guys need to work harder, clearly. What did I already confirm it? Making them naked, or perhaps the alpha shell armor. Oh, we already confirmed it. Maybe. Sometimes it's tough to keep track of what we've talked about and what we haven't. But I think, and that's one of the cool things with Champions is it does allow us to kind of get some of that stuff in there to do that. And just thinking ahead, like we announced kind of the 4 champions. We have a blog post that kind of talked about them. And we went through them a little bit there, but on the last stream. But now we have the Astrotech and the Codian. And, well, as far as I know, there may be some plan, but it's not for me. But just talking from more of a user perspective, are there plans there for a champion along those lines? Like, would that be cool? Because imagine if you had sort of a Codian champion, or maybe a type of Codian, like sort of the Kalsnor equivalent of the Goblin. What if there's a Codian with some kind of cool story there, and that unlocks more kind of Codian clothing? And same thing with the Astrotech, right? You know, I mean, maybe there's, you know, I almost feel like the Astrotech needs to be, you know, named Sigourney, and you know, she's out there doing some stuff. I think that would be super cool. But I think there's a lot of ways there, and I think having you guys start thinking about this and giving us feedback on that stuff would be really helpful. And like I said, a lot of this may be things that these guys have already kind of planned out or have some ideas on. But you know what? Hey, if they aren't planning what we want, we'll tell them what we want and we'll make them do it, right? But that's good.
Or just announce the feature here, and then we'll have to. Right?
Well, then I'll announce the feature and say, you know what? This is exactly what you guys asked for. Do you remember that? And it'll be one guy that asked for it on like some YouTube comment like 9 months ago, and I'll be like, see, the community asked for it. There it is. But no, seriously, can we see the Codian without the helmet?
Oh, sure.
Transparency, translucency. There's some, we've talked about that before. There's a lot of things there. Like it's kind of complicated stuff, and you know, that was my whole thing of dodging that question.
Did he go over the power on with this guy?
No. This is kind of cool.
Check that out.
Ooh, look at that guy.
And so his clothing actually has some power on missive sections
wow.
too.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. Codians can have mustaches? I don't believe mustaches are accepted in their culture.
Oh, that's freaky.
Ooh. So Xbox 360, it's kind of been talked about a lot recently. You know, we've always said that we didn't plan on doing beta on Xbox 360, and I think that's, I think that's still the case. Right now, we're focused on Xbox One and Windows 8, at least for the releases there. But Xbox 360 is still something we plan on doing. You know, Minecraft Max says it'll be on soon after full release. You know, I don't know. I think we need to. It's like with a lot of things, when we get our guys, everybody on the team really focused hard on some like core deliverables like we're doing now with multiplayer and Galaxies and Champions and CQ. You know, a lot of the stuff, it's hard for us to predict what more time might be with the other things until they have time to really look in and estimate out what does it take to finish those things off. But it's still part of our plan. We still, you know, plan on coming to 360. I just don't, you know, we're not ready to even kind of give a rough timeline on that. And no, I won't read what you write, Brad, because why would I? Why? You know, importing 3D models is something that people talk about a lot. I think when you look at what we're trying to do with kind of the overall visual kind of quality and theme, and how it's like very carefully putting this all together that we can have, say, the adventure world fit with a completely different theme like sci-fi, but it works together. And then the next one you guys suggested steampunk, or you know, kind of Roman, you know, Roman columns or Aztec or that type of stuff. You know, we would look at any type of new theme that we do to fit in with everything else, because we do want these things to be able to come together, so you can kind of tell your story, you know, in whatever way you want. I think once you import other things, and I don't know if there's really even a philosophy against it or anything else, but you know, you kind of break that in a lot of ways, and so that's one of the things that we, you know, we want to make sure we kind of really, you know, think through and do that. And we do hear a lot of people ask that, but I think I'd love to hear good discussions on what that would bring that would be more valuable than us doing more stuff here for the people creating with this stuff we have right now. Yeah, Aztec was something that, who was it that mentioned it? Somebody mentioned it early in the stream, Aztec and Mayan. And I think that's kind of a cool theme. But I think you guys should totally come up with a list of themes and kind of the good arguments on why or what, you know, how you see that fitting in with everything and what that could do. And we'll kind of bring people back with that kind of feedback and see what the team thinks. more free stuff would always be nice. I completely agree. I think everything should be free. Everything in the world. Everything. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, we're willing to make the investment to do enough to give people what we hope is enough of the game that they can play and get into and experience and capture what it is. And then we need to figure out, okay, what way does it make sense to allow us to continue to do the right things and add to the game and continue building and evolving it in a way that we're putting out stuff that the community finds valuable enough to purchase. And by purchase, they can either purchase it with their, with their hard-earned money, or they can purchase it with their hard-earned in-game, or really it's an unlock, with their hard-earned in-game currency. And for the most part, we're pretty either way, right? If you're somebody who's active in our game, in our community, and as a creator or a player, and you're earning all this in-game credits, to us, like, that's worth something, and so we think that should allow you to buy something of value or unlock something of value. Again, we want people to also be able to purchase stuff with tokens if they, see something more they want, maybe they don't play as much. But ultimately, we need to keep the game growing, which we want this to be around for 5-10 years, right? We're looking for Project Spark as, almost a platform, right, that is really big for the future. We need to find a way that we can continue to put out things that you guys find valuable enough that you want to spend your, whatever you've earned on it in whatever form. And if you don't, then that tells us we need to try to do better to do that. And so it's kind of a balancing act, right? Because we got to make sure we can do this, and it's something that can keep us sustaining with a large enough team that we can keep adding stuff and doing it, and hopefully even growing it. Maybe even adding more different sort of characters from who knows, from maybe not even games. Maybe it becomes movie characters or comic book characters. Really the sky's the limit. I think if we know what you guys demand, what there's demand for, and what people want, then I think we can try to push to do everything. Now that doesn't mean we can just get any sort of crazy IP. I know everybody's talking about Master Chief, and and we love 343 and the Halo team, and those guys are great, and they've actually, a lot of those folks really helped us a lot. Even like Jessica Shea, but was on the show and kind of played through, and traumatized poor Bradley Reeb. I think he's still a little nervous about that stream, but they've done a lot of great stuff, and I think that's something that hey, we would love to do that, but obviously Master Chief's a big thing, and we're a small team, so some of the IPs we need to figure out, and that's where Conquer made a lot of sense, in that it is almost like kind of the really biggest bang for the buck, because we don't have enough a team to do the design and the artwork and everything else to do a million things. So we really got to be clear on what we choose, but we want to choose what you want. And certainly a really beloved sort of brand like Halo is something that we need to make sure that we can dedicate everything to do it right. And there's a lot of things like that. I think there's a lot of different stuff there we can do. But again, it's really the limit is figuring out what you guys want as the community, and we can pitch whatever, and whatever makes sense for you guys and what you guys are willing to invest in, kind of one way or the other, your time or your money, is what we should do, right? It's kind of a good self-balancing system. So this is what was that Sean Connery movie? The space one. He was the space marshal. I might have to look that up on Google. Hey, it's 4:18. Wow, we're going way over. Anybody know what that movie was? Outback, Outland? Sean Connery in space. I'm typing this into Bing right now. Outland. See, look at that, Outland. 1981. I was only like, since I'm only 23 right now, obviously I was pretty young then. But 1981, hey, you should watch that if you haven't. That's what I always think of. It's close. It was Outlander, but it was Outland, and it was basically he was like a federal marshal on like an outer space mining colony, like kind of solving some sort of mystery, and it had all kinds of sort of space laser fights. And I always kind of, whenever I see Galaxies, I kind of that's what jumps to mind is, geez, I want to make that type of thing. I'm 23. What are you talking about, 8 Agent 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9? 9 So, Ari, are you going to be able to make your modular dungeon out of this? Is it going to be Ari's modular space station? Hey, Leopold Kane. Glad to hear it. You know, you should ask your son what he wants to see more of. You know, does he like playing the games? Has he tried creating? You know, like there was one video when we first came out on Xbox One in what was that? That's early March, like March 5th. Somebody put a video up of, you know, he's like, hey, Project Spark's so easy, my 5-year-old can explain to you how to program in it.
Oh, that's
and
right,
the kid did it, and it was great. And, you know, I think Eric in the bakery made the joke on Twitter at me, like, yeah, even Mike learned something from it. And it's like, the thing is, I did. I was like, oh, no, I didn't know that's what you do. Oh, great. We're putting Ari out of a job. Yeah, you know, the primitive stuff is something that we do see a lot of people say and ask. And you know, I don't know really kind of what the design philosophy is along those lines, because I don't know how broad of an appeal just a primitive pack would be. I know they're very, very hardcore creators would love it and would consider it essential. But rather than doing that as a specific pack, would it be better to kind of take in every pack include some of those primitives and use those again as both primitive and other stuff that we could use to kind of make that pack more appealing to people that might only be interested in sort of, say, you know, sci-fi or steampunk or other things along those lines. Is it tough to develop such a large game with a small team? You know, I think it is, but to do something like this, you know, and I've talked with Sachs about it, and he's just like, you can't, you know, his philosophy is you just can't do it with a large team. You can't do something that's so innovative that relies so much on kind of community like input, and that hasn't been done before with a really, really large team, because you really need to have people that are really scrappy and kind of going at the opportunities. Because once a team gets too big, it kind of, you know, it's just, things get so large you can't do a lot. But yeah, I mean, it is tough, but it's also very, very rewarding, because I think, and Slaton can probably speak to this too, like, you know, our team's small enough that pretty much anybody has any idea, whether it's design or anything, you know, it's always welcome for anybody to bring things up. I mean, because we listen to the community too, but certainly people on the team, anybody can go up to Henry or Reeve and say, hey, I got this crazy idea, and I do it enough that they run whenever they see me. They're sick of hearing my stuff. But, you know, it's really kind of good. And I think when you have that kind of team, small team, and people that aren't really passionate, you know, it wouldn't be the right team for us just because we've got so much work. So it's really, we've got a lot of folks like, you know, like Slaton, and, you know, I mean, pretty much everybody on the team is really, really passionate about this, where people are, you know, this is something that they really love. And so to really do something, I think, very meaningful and cool that really kind of moves sort of the industry forward in a lot of ways, you need a team like that. So yeah, being a small team is definitely a real blessing. And, you know, the curse comes into play where there's so much stuff we want to do that we can only work on 1% of everything we know we love to do and we has to have in as soon as we can. Finite Death, thanks for coming in. Sorry you got to go. We should probably wrap this up really quick. Guys, any last questions? Do you have anything you want to show us off before we... Yeah, this is what I was kind of interested in, kind of tinting this stuff, because... oh, look at that. See... I think you should look at this, guys. This is where a lot of ways, like as creators, you can look at kind of the versatility you will have with this and what you can do kind of in the future to make stuff that looks really cool and kind of fits your distinctive style in whatever it is. So, you know, this is where, again, this stuff is really designed. You know, we're trying to make a good game, but we're also trying to make stuff that really helps this all kind of come out. Release date. Project Spark's available right now in beta on Windows 8 and Xbox One. It's a free digital download. You can go in, do a search in the store, either of those stores, and it'll come up and you're good to go. What we're planning for fall, or Octovember as the community likes to say, is releasing multiplayer over Xbox Live, 4-player create and play. And by create, that means essentially what Slaton is doing right now, 4 people can do it at the same time. And it was a tough thing for us to do, and we put a lot of time and effort into it. Because when you think about it, it's like making multiplayer Photoshop, right? Like this is a big thing to do, and we were able to do it, and so that's a big thing. And also we got this pack that we're doing. We got Champions Quest and the whole Champions system all coming out, and that's looking at the fall time frame, or again as Octovember, as we like to say that. Sneak peek at the legendary DLC. We don't have that here. Like, we have a lot of different builds, and it's kind of interesting if you think about it from a development standpoint. And again, this kind of explains what happens with even a small team. We're working on so much that it's a lot of. We have different branches of the code, right? We have one. Hey, this is the multiplayer one. This is the the Galaxies one. This is the Champions Quest Champions one. And so we have all these different things, and then we kind of have to pull those together in time for release. And this is why Jesse has no hair, and probably all the other producers are losing hair. Trying to coordinate all that is a pretty important thing. But if the Legendary Arsenal does come out last week, like it looks like it may, next Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, we'll go through that. And who was working? That wasn't you. Who was working on?
That was me.
Damn, this guy does everything. What don't you do, Slaton?
Well, there was actually a lot of designers that worked on that one.
On Legendary?
Yep.
Who should we get on the stream?
Oh, we could get myself and Keith. Keith would be good for that. He did a lot of the weapons.
That crazy Keith. And again, he was doing all the tile stuff and everything. That'd be cool. So yeah, we'll figure out for that for Legendary. And I kind of know the general concept of it, but the last time I really kind of looked into it with everything else going on was probably a couple months. So I need to kind of, maybe I'll spend some time this week and kind of looking at it a little bit deeper to kind of understand like overall what it is and what the value of it and what the different parts, so we can kind of talk about it and show it off. But and that's kind of the thing. We just got a lot of teams. We got Slaton's team and BJ's team just cranking on a lot of different things. We got Bradley Reeb and Henry and those guys working on. We got Rob Porsky on the kind of the Champions. Steve O was on last week. Like, these guys are working on the Champion Quest, so it's like almost little sub teams going in really kind of different directions, and we're all focused on the same sort of vision, but they're going really deep in a lot of different things and trying to kind of pull all that together and say, wow, look at this. It's pretty awesome. Cross-platform PC to console multiplayer will depend on how MS Studios wants to get. Yeah, no, I think the thing to look at, and we'll probably address this. We got some community questions, and maybe we'll do it in the AMA. Like, we're focusing right now. It's on Xbox One, and when we look at things, we look at what we can get. Being a small team, and this is where being a small team as part of Microsoft is really where it pays off, and probably something a lot of people don't realize. There's a lot of great tech and a lot of great work that we can leverage, and that's actually kind of one of the big things that even Microsoft as a whole we kind of always focused on, or even putting more stuff there, is how do we leverage stuff that people have already done. And you look at like Xbox Live and things that they have there already, like sort of the party interface and kind of the chat system and all that stuff. And sure, Team Dakota, we could we got talented guys, we could build that all ourselves, but is that the best bang for our buck? Is that the things that give you guys the most the experience as quickly you want, given everything else we want to do? So with Xbox Live, that's a really kind of good thing there that had allowed us. In a lot of ways, that's a big point of why we went with Windows 8, because it did have that connection to the Xbox Live, which is what we use to let people log in and everything. And then with multiplayer, yeah, we have we can get that. We're focused right now on Xbox One and getting that in. And then we got to figure out the right solution for sort of how do we leverage that over to Windows 8 and stuff, and what can we leverage from other teams, or just kind of the platforms of what they built already versus what we do ourselves. And we're not a team that's afraid to go out and do the things ourselves that we need to do to make the product successful and our community successful. And we definitely don't shy away from that, but we try to be very judicious in that, because we do have limited resources. And we need to make sure that we're kind of delivering in every way in a very efficient way on stuff. Lineage is a good, kind of a good topic. We didn't get as much, I think, in it as we wanted, and I know there's more coming pretty soon. So we're pretty excited about that. When do we have plans on taking player-made Project Spark games and making them into full games? Well, define full games. I think some of the stuff I've played already, is really, I mean, I think it's comparable. I spent a lot of, I'm mostly a PC gamer. I spent a lot of time on Steam, and I'm really kind of happy to see where Steam has gone. Do you see like a lot of these indie kind of developers making games that none of the big guys really want to work on and do stuff, and I love seeing those new games, those new designs and stuff that's not super polished. So I think that's great. But a lot of the stuff that I've seen in Project Spark so far is stuff that I think rivals a lot of things that you see available and people are buying on Steam. So I think it's there. I think, something people always ask is like, oh, well, when will we be able to sell our games and stuff? And, we won't lie and say that that's not a request that comes up, and that's not something that, hey, maybe that's something we look at in the future. But we really, our goal right here, we need to prove out that this is something that people want, that this is the right thing. And we need to really focus on that. And if Project Spark ends up being as successful as, as we all kind of hope it will be, then I think, then that'll be the time to really look at it. But again, we have to kind of prove that out. And, you guys need to prove that out and, tell us, is this the right thing and not? And a lot of ways, you're voting with your in-game credits or your tokens by what you get and what you create and what you do. Will level linking being one level per slot or, I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows. Maybe they do. I mean, Reeb and Henry have a pretty good idea on this stuff. But, I think that there's a lot of stuff. And I think with level linking, all along, it raised some sort of questions on how does that work? Because obviously we can't just have a bazillion levels. So, like, there's one case where, okay, well, you can link from one level to another level, and if you only have 3 slots or 5 slots to upload, well, your level can only link 3 or 5 times more, 2 or 4 times most. But if we turn around and say, well, you can link to anything even if it's not a shared level, well, now basically we have no way to control. You can make a level that links 300 times, and now you've uploaded 300 levels to our servers, and that stuff we need to track, and we need to kind of keep some sort of limit on kind of the resources and stuff. So it's really a balancing act, and I think that's a good question. I'll ping Reeb and Henry on that stuff to see. More tutorials for new players. I think, yeah, we're always looking for ways to do that, but again, small team, and honestly, the community is a lot better at this stuff, a lot of stuff, than we are. And I mentioned it earlier in the stream, and I'll give him another plug again. When he becomes famous, I hope he gives me a cut. But Mescad, do a search on YouTube for Mescad, Project Spark, MESCAD. And he has over 100 tutorials now, and they're really well done. And I think if you look through there's pretty much almost anything you could imagine he's explained. But, he's very active on Twitter and on our forums and on project-spark.org. And he's usually in our Twitch streams, but I give him suggestions on what you like, because this is just a guy that just loves this stuff, and he loves doing it, and he's really, really good at it. And I think, that in a lot of ways is really where we see a lot of this going, is kind of the community helping to bring each other up, because, we can tell you, hey, here's the right way, but what the heck do we know, right? You guys should know the right way to do it. It's your game, right? So, and he is a Sith Lord, and here is BJ back.
To get Slaton for a meeting.
For a meeting. Oh, I thought you were coming back because you missed the community so much and you had so much new news to announce and everything else, and that you hadn't actually leaked anything, and you remembered, and so you wanted to come in.
Is that hair?
Is that hair?
Can you animate those?
Can you animate what?
Inside joke.
We're talking about level linking. The fact that Mescad is a Sith Lord, and you shouldn't trust him.
You did give me an idea, though.
Will popular UGC creators be awarded more slots? I think we haven't really looked at, like right now we're kind of trying to reward people with credits. And I think there's a lot of ways we can go. There's also a lot of back-end work we need to do before we can kind of...
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that's what we needed. We needed a kind of a good sort of FIFA in space style...
FIFA space?
Yeah, FIFA space game. Look, oh boy, somebody squat on that URL, FIFA space. Be huge. Watch. It's the future. To do that. But yeah, Mescad's things are super awesome for folks. But yeah, I mean, we need to reward the great creators, because really, you guys are doing, in a lot of ways, that's our greatest resource, is those of you that are out there making awesome stuff. We really need to find the right way to kind of, reward you guys to do that. And I don't think that additional slots is a bad way to do it. We just need to kind of get some back-end stuff so we can really tie that stuff to what to do, and then sort of work with Jared and Henry and the rest of the team to figure out the right way to kind of do those things. But again, I think, good suggestions would be good. We did kind of put in through a hack, and hats off to the service team for kind of getting this in, that if you do buy any of the 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month Spark Premium packages, you get more slots. In fact, the 12-month Spark Premium gives you a whopping, and anything I'm about to say is not me. So just remember that if it ends up in the New York Times. Destroy the core moment. But yeah, I think give us some suggestions on that stuff, because we're definitely open to it. But definitely, you get 12 slots if you buy the 12-month Spark Premium, which I don't know if anybody's filled 12 spots, but if we have and I challenge the community this, if we have a core creator that has made 12, that has purchased the Spark Premium, and they've made, well, that would be 12, so that would be what? Either 15 or 17 slots if they were in the beta, right? Somebody slots with 17 good levels, and they purchased the 12-month, talk to me, because I will figure out a way to get that person more upload slots by whatever means we need to. But again, we need to have limits, and we need to make sure of it. But so we have a way to do it right now, but in the future, yeah, definitely I'm going to do that. Destroy the core.
Destroy the core.
Oh, look at that, huh? That looks hard. All right, guys. Anything else before we run?
Whoa.
Oh man, yes.
No. Oh. I can make it like a whole bunch of these.
And what are these called now? Officially?
Moon pods?
In this build, they're called moon pods, but we're most likely going to be changing the name. Yeah.
No. To what, or is it not decided?
It's probably going to be something pod.
Gas pod?
Yeah, they were gas bags. Remember?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it
bags.
was, the internal name was gas bags, and you can imagine how our build review meetings were. Everybody's like, what gas bag? Yeah. So now you guys get to know the inside scoop on what these things were called. Sauropod.
That reminds me of work.
Yeah, what you guys should do.
Sauropod.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna try to get this, and I know we still have a backlog of Twitch archives that we need to get on YouTube. It's just we're kind of sorting out our processes so that we're more prepared to scale. And it's not just kind of Mike just doing this stuff and Slaton continuously crashing the game and not letting us have anything cool. But I will try to get this one up today so we have it out there so that people can see it and share it and watch it again and everything else. And a lot of people look at this, watch it on mobile and other stuff, and Twitch doesn't necessarily work on all those things. And I'll let you guys know about if we do the Reddit Ask Me Anything thing. I think, I'm going to kind of talk with the team today and get kind of their thoughts on, how they feel about that, because it's going to take some time from folks to do it, and we want to make sure it's not going to impact schedule and stuff like that. But, we'll do that. But in the meantime, keep an eye on us on Facebook and, on Twitter, and just do a search for us, you'll be able to find it. ProjectSpark.com, a lot of great discussions happening there in the forums. We got a blog site up there where we're hoping to have some pretty good cadence there. As Bradley Reeb is always quick to mention,
I want the Mega Man IP.
Project Spark, or project-spark.org, and somebody will type that in chat for you guys. That's the community fan-run website by a lot of our really core folks, and they do a lot of really awesome stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of great. They have a lot of great information, and they also give you kind of a lot of great commentary on what we announce, and then they'll do recaps of the stream and their thoughts and what they sort of suspect and stuff, and I think that's really good. I love reading it because I'm like, oh, really? I didn't even think about that when we announced that, but that's a good point. So, check all that stuff out and stay tuned. And we will be back next Thursday at 3 p.m. But keep an eye for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometime early next week for Billy Goat's Gruff. Billy Goat's Gruff. I don't think there's a T there. and then possibly the next epic/legendary DLC that is in the works that we haven't announced.
That has a big surprise in it.
That has a big surprise that I don't even know what it is, but there's a big surprise. So, yeah, and this was almost 2 hours long. So, see, there you go, guys. No, nothing tomorrow. Earliest would be Monday, but we'll let you guys know. And Slaton needs to go to work. So, thanks, guys. We will see you next week, and stay in touch.
See ya.